Hey, hello. See the beautiful live stream setup, but it's just me. There's nobody else on the other side. Ew. I don't have a setup for just me. How is everybody? I promised that I would not leak anything tonight. Everybody was there were major cries. Calder, can you please do the live stream because don't have the opportunity to, and everybody had something. And of course, we cannot miss one of the live streams. I think we've not missed a live stream date for a long time. We've always been doing it every 2 weeks and we've not missed one. So it's one of the things we've consistently been doing. So don't want to break that tradition now. I don't know how many viewers we're gonna get in total. If you're saying there's 35 viewers right now, then it doesn't matter what I leak, right? Nobody's going to really believe you anyway. Just have to make sure to delete the video afterwards. I'm gonna do my best not leaking anything. Sometimes I just get a bit too deep, you know. Sometimes I just get a bit too deep into projects and I kind of forget what the public does know, what they don't know. Let's make this a good stream. I'm gonna try to limit it to 1 hour, and I'll have a happy wife. I'll also have a happy sleep for tomorrow morning, and then we'll all have a happy life. What are we working on now? I'm gonna do a lot of chat questions. I have no special program. I'm just here for 1 hour, and I'm willing to go into anything without leaking anything. So whatever you want to know. Let's see. Zero. Oh, okay. If you sent out an application for one of the job listings and you don't receive any answer, that would be quite possible. We usually already get a lot of applications for a position, and we've stopped doing some kind of auto reply on these kind of things because it's just not feasible anymore. Though we don't have some good auto. We could do some kind of like click a button and then send like a email to decline the offer or something like that, I guess. But we have another problem, bigger problem, is that our key person that has been filtering through a lot of the applications for the different positions to help get through that first round is not working at Wooting anymore. This was Van An, but she decided to do something else full-time, where she was doing this part-time, helping out the business. But and she did a really great job finding people, good people through the applications. But we don't have that person anymore. So now it's kind of more difficult to get through the applications. Yeah. But we are still actively hiring. So you can go to the Wooting website, scroll all the way down and look at careers, and you'll find the positions we're hiring. We are primarily hiring people in Taiwan. And then we have some positions that are in the Netherlands and any administrative office spots that we have. So that can be Denmark, Germany. What else? Denmark, Germany. If it's a developer position, we're a bit more open to anywhere you want. I forgot, there must be another country that I forgot. Norway is also possible. Yeah. And then, there was the question about what we're working on, right? So I can't really tell exactly what we're working on that is not public knowledge. I can show something that I'm working. Oh, well, I can show something that I'm working on, which is technically leaking, but not leaking because you don't know, you can't tell anyway. This is a keycap set. It is just like our double shot keycaps. And there's something different about this that you don't know what it is. That's not something I'm working on. Uh, okay, let's see if I can be a bit more specific. Oh, the ISOs for Optimum. That's a good one. Optimum ISO. Yeah. Oh, Manson, you little leak. Hey, I'm not signed in. I can't really move the chat up. What's this? Let's see. So Optimum. Oh, this is a bit weird. Okay, Optimum keyboards. We the Optimum keyboard launch, or no, it's not a keyboard. It's the case, right? I have it. I have a sample here. That's old sample. Is this the one? Yeah. Oh, this one. This is actually not even. This is also not the final box. That we used a different box in the end. This was just one of the samples that we made. See, it's a different box. If you have the Optimum case, you know what I'm talking about. See this? Oh yeah, this is also with the old plate. Yeah. So we released the Optimum case with Optimum keycaps, but we did in the keycap set there are no ISO keys, and that was a little bit of an oopsie because we kind of could have added ISO keys, but I would say that throughout the whole project and doing those keycaps particularly, it was very difficult. Like we were getting, the feedback loops were so slow and making the samples went so slow. And not because of Optimum, it's more because of the way we work with this factory. And then by the time that we finally got something that was remotely what we were looking for, there was was it a rush? It was like, this was the last moment we could make a change and let's go to the production so we can time it well with the case. And we didn't think about the ISO keys. It was a bit of an oopsie. But we talked it over with the vendor and also checked, if they even had the extra molds for ISO keys. They do. And we're now making another batch of the keys. I think it's actually, is it selling? It's selling right now into that batch. And part of that batch is going to have also ISO keys. So we're going to make the ISO listing available as well. Or in fact, I'm going to change the naming. I think if it needs to be separate listing because it's all in the same box, but it will include ISO keys. So in theory, but don't do it now. But in theory, if you place an order for the Optimum gray keycaps now, there will be ISO keycaps inside. Optimum keycaps, they will fit the ATHC, but you won't have enough to cover all the keys. So it fits, but it's not enough. Yeah. And Optimum 80. I'm just trying to focus on the Optimum questions here for a moment. There's no Optimum ATHC. I would be very welcome. I wouldn't mind to make an Optimum version of the 80. That would be pretty dope. It was also very, very nice working with Optimum on the collaboration because it was our first collaboration. It was also for him the first time, and he was very, like, he already had a clear idea of what he wanted, so it made it very easy to get what we needed. Only the keycap part was very, very annoying because it was very difficult to get exactly what we're looking for. And there was also a bunch of, we tried a bunch of different things also, not just the complete clean one. At first we had some kind of graphic, but the graphic didn't really work out. Then we went to this like gradient style of gray. That really wasn't as good. And then it just ended up being like, let's just like single color. But it was very nice working with him. And he is genuinely the same guy as you see on the videos. He's so nice. He is very grounded and he's very fair. And he really does his thing. Yeah, which is very cool. Okay. Let me see if I don't know if you guys mind that I just go through different questions in the chat. Like I said, I'm just going to try to do as much chat for this hour. Ask anything. Oh, Americans. Well, you know what's We have a American subsidiary company. In theory, we could start trying to hire in the US, but I just don't want to deal with the administrative hassle at the moment, hiring anybody in the US, because it also has some like tax compliance uh, uh, or tax implications is what I should say. Other than the whole employment administration, which is the huge chunk of extra stuff that we'd have to figure out, that's just not worth it at the moment. We're already so much trying to arrange everything around our US subsidiary, specifically, oh my God, state taxes. Like, I have no problem with paying the taxes, and we have no problem, but we are actively collecting tax in different states, but it's just so outdated. Oh my God. I don't understand why Americans have such outdated tax systems, and why every state is so different with everything. It is so frustrating. It's such a headache. And and what is it? You're gonna cut the budget for the IRS? Oh my God, it's such a headache. So and then U.S. accountants, so expensive, so incredibly expensive. Oh my God, and also, if you would have this, there's this thing I have. Okay, sorry, I'm just gonna rant this out. Okay, there's this thing I have. Every time, like, I've had different US accountants now, because I was just not satisfied with the first one. And second one, maybe gonna switch to a third one. But every time having a call with an American company, especially, but then with the accountant, it's like you have this one person that you're talking with, and there's like 2 or 3 other people in the same call, and they're like not saying a thing. And then this 1 minute, there's a question going towards them, and have a moment to shine and say this one thing they were there for, because of they're the ones doing that thing, and that was it. And you know what? At the end of the call, I get the fucking bill to pay for everybody that was in the call on the accountant side. Yeah, not appreciated. Yeah, so I can rant quite a lot about this. So okay, let me get back to the questions. If it scrolls through the chat, it's not scrolling through the chat. Okay, here we go. Sorry. So I saw there was somebody else ranting about the US, but why didn't I see this? Campaign fees. Let's see. Hey, I thought I just saw somebody else ranting about America, but I thought I'd keep it a little bit on topic, but I can't find it anymore. Okay. Okay, I'll shoot a couple quick ones. What are better, Lecker 60 switches or L45 switches? It's a preference. And I would say for typing, L60 switches are better. And then if you would say for as fast as possible response gaming, oh my gosh, it's my camera function. You got L45 switches, which are nice to use, but you're definitely gonna get more typos. But it's very much a preference, and in either case, whichever one you use, you get used to it after a while. But if it's too light, you will get used to it, but still, it won't be as you would still have more typos versus a more heavier one, and heavier ones are a little bit longer to also get used to, because you can get some strain in the beginning. You feel like maybe you're getting fatigued faster, but you get over that pretty fast. But that's my opinion. That's why a lot of switches are like in between the light or medium, which is closer to the L60. They're usually slightly lighter. Let's see. Fiction pad. Oh, if you received the fiction pad of the Optimum case, don't worry, keep it. Or maybe you have a friend, tell them to buy 60HE, give it to him or her. Because the Optimum case from after the first first 1,000 cases, everything else already includes the fiction pad inside the box. So it's not delivered separately with the product anymore. It's just that we kind of last moment, well, not last moment, but we kind of decided, you know what, we should just add the fiction pad inside with the keyboard. But the first production was already finished, and we're like, okay, we'll just add it for free, and then everything equal. Collaborations, to get back on the Optimum topic, right? When it comes to collaborations, we will do more collaborations going into the future. And we're getting better at knowing what to exactly look for, and hopefully we can, in general, do it more often. So you see the Optimum, we have the Optimum collab, we have this collaboration with Owl Labs, which is different kind. Oh, do I have that? I've stopped bringing samples back home because I know I'm not going to be able to put my full attention on the sample at home anyway. I don't think I have No, I don't have the Owl Labs. No, I don't have the Owl Lab case. Or do I have that? Maybe. No, I also don't have the original like prototype. I left it all in the office space. Yeah. But sorry, we have the Optimum collaboration. Owl Lab collaboration is a bit different. The Owl Lab creation is similar, that it's only a case for the 60, but Owl Lab themselves are the designers and the makers of the case. So we are collaborating with them by giving them some creative input, but mostly by just making sure that the case comes to our side, and we're going to be doing ESD EMI testing with it, making sure that everything fits properly, and then we'll be distributing that case outside of China, and they will be doing China domestically. Because along the way, they were very much questioning like what we want to see in the case and everything, but I just didn't want to get creatively too involved, because I wanted it to be an Owl Lab case, their own style, and they have a certain style in general, and they know best how to do that. So I left that creative part to them, and that resulted in this case. And for me, it was more important that we have more luxury cases available for the 60. And for the 80, we're trying to do something similar, where we're trying to get more custom cases available for the 80 in general. And we're trying on our side different ways of making it happen. So we have one party that we're working with similar to Owl Labs to make a more of a luxury aluminum case for the 80. There's no timeline on this. I'm not even 100% sure if it's going to 100% go through, but they are working on something, and we're in like a starting point. And what was also fun to see that KBD fans, they released a custom case prototype they have, at least right now, for the 80HE. We did not tell them to do this, but it's very cool to see that they did they did it. I don't know if it's just an interest check only, but KBD fans did release a product page, and I think you can register your email there. I'm not sure. I'm funny that I didn't actually check that. But we already reached out to them and said, send that case to us, and then we can do some ESD EMI testing and add it to our compatibility list. Also let everybody know it exists. And we're going to give them, the idea right now is that we're going to give them a strap for the first 1,000 orders, so they can give that for free with the first 1,000 orders. Yeah. So in this way, we are trying to actively, like, if there's already a case maker working on a case, we'll want to reach out to them and get them more in touch with the target group, and with case makers also find ways to work together so they can create a case for either the 60 or the 80, and also get that going around. So even it may be through our store or through other stores as well, but it's very much about just creating a bit more of a ecosystem where you have options, in case options, let's put it that way. And the thing that I am most concerned about with this, and it's slowly working towards that more and more, is just to make sure that the whole installation of it all and what end user gets is as easy as possible. But there's a lot of creative decisions that also still need to happen on the case maker side when it comes to sound profile and what they want to see in the sound profile. So yeah, we'll see. We are actively trying to get that running as much as we can. Okay. Hey, hello from Taiwan. Nice. Shit. So look, I'm running really behind on chat, so it's a bit stupid to run behind in chat because I also need to kind of see what's the new stuff. Let's see. Do you have a release date? I'm gonna try to keep it on topic for what I've covered. Do you have a release date for the 8HE files? Yeah, actually, we should have already released it. We've released some of the files now to some of the case creators. And I think what kind of happened, you have this, oh my God, this is a whole other topic. There's the Mad Lions keyboard out there, right? Which is that like super cheap clone Wooting keyboard. And they literally just grab the design files from our GitHub and open them all using our design files. And when that came out, we were kind of like, oh, okay, well, kind of figuring out like, what do we think about this? How does this work? Like, we already saw this with the Alimaze. Alimaze, we also have the design files on GitHub, and it's available for everyone. And there are already some copies out there of the Alimaze. And it was also like, yeah, I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, kind of assessing this. Because on the one side, it's like, as long as we all can have an underlying understanding that this is a Wooting thing and it's a copy, then I'm kind of less troubled with this. But it's kind of also what has now put a little bit of a pause of publishing those ATHE design files. Because we're kind of thinking, should we maybe release it as one block? So it's a little bit more difficult not just a little bit more difficult, that you literally need to reverse engineer it to make it workable for production. But then you can use it for measuring all the dimensions that you need. Yeah, so that's kind of like put a small break on that. But we're probably just gonna still release it as we usually do, maybe as a block design. So that's kind of what been pausing it. And Kevin, the head industrial design, he's on a holiday this week. So next week he'll be back. And yeah, first thing is it needs to go online, design files. Yeah, that was my very long answer to the design files. There was the quick question. This also 8HE. Order the Wooting 8HE instead of the module version. Is it just easily moddable? Yes. It doesn't matter if you get the module or the assembled 8HE. You basically get the same stuff. Unlike the 6HE module and 6HE, it's slightly different from each other when it comes to the switch plate and the stabilizers. So, but in 8HE, it's the same. Oh, right. The camera effect. We see, and now I'm going back more up, but this is, I think it's this. Was not this one? This one maybe? One? No? I know this one is going to work. No! No, it's, yeah, there we go. Oh, yeah. Is there already a cold cable in the 8HE packaging? Or do I just buy it extra if I want one? You have to buy a cold cable as an extra purchase. It's not inside the keyboard. The keyboard has its own cable, but it's not a cold cable. The cold cables are also very expensive because of the connector that comes with a cold cable. The cable itself is already very long, and the longer the cable, more expensive it gets. But then you also, that connector in between is also relatively expensive. That's why those cold cables are more expensive. Except if you go for those, you have a lot of those aviator connector cables. You have like cheaper versions of that. But what usually happens, they save cost on the cable material, so the material they use inside the cable. And then it doesn't have the right AWG for the length of the cable, meaning that it cannot supply stable voltage, which will make it not work well with some products like the 6HE did. Right, and then what do you think about the KBD Fans GT80? I guess I just kind of covered that, right? I think it is a pretty... I think it is a pretty cool looking keyboard. Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily really out there, but I think it's like it's like a certain very familiar flavor within the mechanical keyboard scene. So now you can get that flavor with the 8HE, and I think that makes it cool. Okay, let me scroll all the way down. I don't know how much delay there is between in the stream. My gosh, 6HE, 8K. I don't know if did I miss that much? I should keep an eye on the chat while I'm talking a bit more, because there's so much stuff coming by. We'd already know about the OWL Labs. I didn't say anything about OWL Labs 80HE, by the way. There's no OWL Labs 80HE. I can tell you that. Tactile Lekker HE switch. Tactile switches. It's interesting that nobody's made tactile switches yet for the HE. But there's also, because of the actuation point changing stuff, everybody thinks it's a little bit pointless. But I guess if you're used to tactile switches, you just like that feeling of having that bump regardless of the actuation point. We don't have the plan just yet, because I'm first trying to, oh gosh, switches is also a thing. We're going to do our best to catch up with switches. We've been actually working in the background on switches quite a bit, but just not achieving the result that I wanted to see. Also not the result that the design was supposedly going to give us. And we've been holding back a lot of our Lekker switch development because of that switch. And now it's come to a point where it's like, okay, we're going to do this, but in parallel, we're going to advance the Lekker switch faster. So that's why we have the Lekker V2, of course, which was like a obvious jump that we could make. But we're now also looking at how we can, well, we already know what we can do to further the Lekker series of it, but then to do more switches in general is something we want, and we have this other thing running. So eventually doing a tactile one, it would not be out of the question. It's just not on the roadmap right now. Yeah. And but as soon as another switch maker would make it, then we'll definitely stock it on the store. So we have actually on the way to the Wooting store the Geon switches. It's taking a little while to arrange everything because we need to package it specifically in 70 and 90 packs. Hey. And we also have the TTC switches, the King of Magnetic switches from TTC. We also have those coming to the store. But then with the TTC switches, I tested them. There's a couple of things I didn't really like that much that could be done better. We gave that feedback. It's very minor, like the LED light that is like a LED bar that's separate in there, but you can actually pop it out with your finger. So if you're then using a puller and trying to get the switch, it will pop out the LED bar if it's a little tighter. But we fixed that. I don't know if they fixed that also in their main line, but we fixed that. We changed the colors a bit. And also in the 70 pack and the 90 pack. And then we're going to have a palm version. So the top and the bottom case is made of palm. And we're going to have the regular one, which is PC top nylon bottom. And we're going to have both those versions on the store available as well. And that was fun and quick. TTC was very responsive to our request, and like I've mentioned, maybe I don't know if I mentioned how often I've mentioned before, but the whole idea is that we're going to have more switches available on our store, so you can get it with your you can get it with your Wooting keyboard. And we're not, oh yeah, and then, Gatron has a whole bunch of new switches. We've gone through all of them, but we didn't feel like there was enough distinctive benefits, especially for the price for these versus the Jade. So we're just going to stick with the Jade and focus on the other switches that are releasing. Okay, add some new features. Okay, gosh. Shipment cart. Silent switch, not yet. This other switch we've been trying stuff with is more silent. Wasn't necessarily made to be silent. TTC had a silent one. We tested this. Crap. The bottom hitting silent part. Crap. Oh, kind of forgot about that one. There was something with it. There was something else. Well, with the silent switch at TTC, they have a design on the return of the key. They silence the switch, but they do it with some kind of like, you should imagine some kind of like plastic spring leg that's sticking out on the sides of the stem, and as it comes back, it kind of like bounces against it. But there is a thing that not a lot of people really realize is that if the stem returns to the top of the case, and then the stem is being, if you have that like spring mechanism on top, that means the stem goes up, down a bit, and back up again. And if you have a very sensitive rapid trigger, it means you're going to double activate the key. And that's not good. So that was a no-no. There's Wooting. All right, okay, this is nice. Why does Wooting not participate in Black Friday? We have never participated in Black Friday for two reasons. One is that we already have a pretty simple pricing policy, which is basically we have one price and we stick with it. I don't know how feasible it is to do that as a company for forever. Coming into the second part, a Black Friday has completely lost its meaning. You know what happened when I look at the sales numbers? You know what happens? The month working up towards Black Friday, the sales go down. The days getting close to Black Friday, the sales slowly go up. And then during Black Friday, the sales peak a bit without changing the prices. So you can now you can figure out what does that mean. That means that everybody has been trained to not purchase anything and wait for Black Friday to get the best deal. And then when Black Friday is there, then they're going to spend their money, regardless of the price. So, Black Friday is like, it's just like, let's create an artificial bottleneck so that we can have everybody purchasing everything at the same time. So all our postmen can go on a strike 2 weeks afterwards or in January because they're going fucking crazy with how much stuff has to be shipped all at once. And whether you have that crazy stuff in the US, right? Where everybody's just lining up to buy all kind of shit on Black Friday because of the huge discounts. Yeah, I'd rather not participate in that. So, what we have done in the past, and this is the thing that I will believe would be coming back at some point or some level, is that we have like a clearance. We call it the garage sale, and it's basically like a clearance of old stock. And we don't have one coming up just yet, but that is something we will be doing a bit more frequently. But with this, we would also do it on our own terms. We're not going to wait for a certain period because, end of the day, it's not going to make a big difference anyway. So we stick with a price. We go forward with it. We just don't do the discounts so that you don't need to expect us to do a discount either. We do have, but we do have discounts existing, by the way. You go to hub.wooting.io. If you've bought a 6THE, for example, or bought an 8THE, there's already a discount there for you. So there is that kind of stuff. But we're just not with those crazy Black Friday bullshit things. We just don't do that. Okay. There's plenty of room. LTT. Blah, blah. It's going to be a discount for Christmas. No discounts, no Christmas discounts or something. There's just not going to be any discount on the keyboards. We don't discount the keyboards. That's what it comes down to. We at best you might see like a bundle or something, like get a free item with the keyboard or something like that. So because I can't say that we can forever do this forever in this way, but in general we don't discount the keyboards. We don't do discounts overall. We don't want anybody to be expecting us to do discounts or be waiting for a certain period of doing discounts. So we just don't do discounts. And if we feel like, so we have done one thing, for example, but then we're saying, okay, we're in a new phase for this product life cycle. And this was for the OO. We lowered down the price of the OO. Because it's entered a new product life cycle, and now OO is significantly cheaper than before. So if you're in for the OO, it's now, the RGB version is now $50 or 55 euros. I forgot the euro price. And the non-RGB one is, I think, $40. But the RGB one is now a very good deal in comparison. Let me see about some Black Friday comments here. The dates are based on stock right now. Oh, there's no black PC plate for the 8HE for now, by the way. The 8HE needs a little bit more time. We need to kind of, just to give a little bit more information about 8HE. So when we released the 8HE, we're getting a whole bunch of feedback from different users. And now we're very focused on increasing the yield rates for the 8HE, meaning that with a production, we have less defects during production. And that goes for every single part. But there is also like very small things that we know we can do better on the 80. So one of the feedback is where people I need to think about how I can share things without leaking things. But then I think, oh yeah, I have a good one. Okay, yeah. So the plastic case, for example, because it's made of post-consumer recycled plastic, it has slightly more flex than maybe virgin ABS plastic. But we were like, okay, we can do this better. We can decrease either the post-consumer recycled percentage or mix it with some PC plastic and do also PCR PC plastic mixed in there. So we've made a bunch of samples with one being virgin ABS more, post-consumer recycled plastic less, and another one post-consumer recycled ABS and post-consumer recycled, this is the PCR, right? PC plastic mixture, because PC plastic is much more rigid, so it will help to make it less flexible. So we did all that and we made samples, and the conclusion was it didn't make a difference. And even with a virgin ABS case, it still didn't make a difference. So then we concluded, okay, crap, you know what? With a lot of keyboards, they will use a aluminum switch plate. We also used aluminum switch plates in the past. The 6HE Plus has a steel switch plate, not even aluminum, but steel. And if we would have used an aluminum plate in the 8HE, it would have been a lot more stiff and we would have not been getting this feedback. But we chose for a PC plate because of sound. But as a disadvantage of the PC plate is that it's also a plastic plate and it will allow you to flex it. So yeah, it just kind of like, okay, So now we're taking a look at, okay, can we change the mold, the inside structure of the case a bit so we can increase how rigid it feels? And just to be clear, this has absolutely nothing to do with the durability, the performance, or what you can expect from the case, but it's purely like okay, you feel it's plasticky, so let's make it feel less plasticky for you. That's basically what we're doing. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, there's also a bunch of other things like the stabilizers. We've been noticing lately more and more that some people on Discord would give feedback they feel a little bit scratchy on the stabilizer, especially the spacebar stabilizer. So we've been going deeper into this. And we find out that, we kind of find out that we need to start paying more attention now to you have two stabilized out ends, then you have on the spacebar keycap, you have these stems that go onto the stabilizer, and stabilizers themselves have a lot of wiggle, right? You can grab a stabilizer stem, you can move it around a lot. The whole purpose of this, moving around a lot, is because every spacebar and the position of those stems and the distance between those two is different by like some millimeters, point something millimeters, or even a few millimeters. And because they're all different, to compensate, those stabilizers can go joop or joop, have a lot of space to move, so that if it is slightly smaller, it can move this way. But what it also means is that your stabilizer can feel not so great, or even make absolute horrible noise just because of that different angle that it gets into. And in worst case scenario, your spacebar gets stuck when you press it down. It can also happen on your shift or the other keys, but spacebar is the more susceptible one. And this has never really been a thing before, but this is kind of the thing that when you make a lot more product, the smallest chance of something will happen, because you just have the wrong, like you have a tolerance range also with the distance on the stabilizers, on the keycap. And if you have one with the most outer tolerance and the other one with the most inner tolerance, you put them together, bad combination. Okay, I have to shut myself up on stabilizers. Let me go back to the questions. Otherwise, I'm going to start ranting about stabilizers. I have a lot more to rant about this. Okay, I need I need a little bit of help because I don't know what question to pick up. There's a bit too much. Wait. Any update on the white zinc alloy V2? I have only 15 minutes left. Yeah. Yeah. Shit. Okay. I'm going to keep my eyes on the chat now. Okay. The zinc alloy V2. There was an update going to come out today that I recorded last Wednesday. And it basically said, we made a decision on the V2. We're going to throw that into production. All dandy. And in January, we can start shipping. But I had to pause it today because I received a call from Yuli. It's our technical project manager. She's in China right now. And she is at the factory. And she was checking the V2. And it was not the same as the golden sample we signed off. And because of that, I need to, next week, Monday and Tuesday, we'll be at the designated factory for the white zinc V2, and we can do a double check on the golden sample they have at hand that we've signed, and to do the comparison. And then the question is going to be, okay, why is this not the same? Hopefully it was a mistake on the factory side that they sent like a wrong sample to her. But if we uncover more other stuff here, then I have no update to release. So if we find out it was an oopsie and it's clear what this was about, then we have a conclusion for the V2 and we can start shipping it in January. But yeah. Gosh, Cyber Monday, Black Friday. I have to say it, all the stupid discount holidays that are created because of this ultimate greed of resellers thinking that they're actually earning money with these discounts, which is it's absolute bullshit. You're just earning exactly the same or less, even though you're selling more quantity. Nobody's buying stuff before you have that discount day because they're all waiting for the discount day. And it's just causing more problems than it's solving problems. So, does that answer Cyber Monday? Sorry, I'm going to be ranting all this. Possibly shopping cart during West 60 choose which kind of switches want to be installed. Just like, Emily is asking about the possibility of a shopping cart during 6HE. Okay, vein taps. You have an opportunity to post your question now. I saw that one. Oh, unless Manson already answered it then. The V2 is not okay. The white zinc V2 is not just about the color. It's also about a piece of durability of the coating. And we're trying to make some improvements versus the version 1. Okay, vein tapes, there's no plans. We don't have different pricing in different countries for the 8HE and 6HE. So we don't have anything specifically for India. We've never been really that popular in India, so we're already struggling to do a lot more for some other local markets. And India is not high on that list right now, so don't expect anything soon. Yeah, but if you have resellers you recommend in India, like reliable resellers that are selling also gaming gear in general, you're very welcome to throw them in here, and then we can reach out to them. Okay, let's see. Let me get my. Oh yeah. Untamed. The KBD Fams GT80, we've seen it. It's not going to be in our store specifically. It's interesting you mention it though. We might add it to the store, but to be honest, KBD Fans doesn't have a lot of margin on their products to start with. And then if we would buy it from them, the price we can buy it from them becomes like, okay, you know what? We might as well make our own case. It's kind of, I don't know. It's not really like the overlap is too strong, let's say. Like, yeah. We would really need to purchase it for, well, anyway, it just business-wise, we can kind of do it, but it would be only interesting if they actually have a reputation, like a designer's reputation, you know? And people buy it for the designer, but people don't buy this case because it's the KBD Fans one. They buy it because it's available and it's cheaper. You know what I mean? So it's not interesting for us to buy it and then sell it in our store, because then we might as well just make a case ourselves, and then we can earn twice the amount off, and we have full control over what we're offering, from warranty to design to the build, everything. So it's just not interesting for us. But if you would be telling me, well, this is from special designer that's very popular in the scene, and we buy it because it's that specific designer, yeah, that's much more interesting to offer on the store. Yeah. But you don't buy KBD Fans because KBD Fans. If that makes sense. So that's why the chance of that is very low. ATHE LMAs. Yeah, ATHE LMAs. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Eventually we will have an ATHE. I don't know if it's going to be like LMAs 80. Maybe. But we will eventually make a case. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Just like the switches on the store. So the switches on the store is another example. So for the switches, this is something that we are not like. This is like this is subjective. This is like a certain thing you want from a switch, what a certain switch maker is making. That is interesting for you as end user. Okay, we want that on the store. More options. But then still I would say that still well, it depends on the manufacturer though. Yeah, so switches still make sense. Yeah. Okay, I'm not going to scroll back. I'm going to try to keep up more with the recent questions for the last 10 minutes. You don't need a super PC for AK polling, by the way. But maybe on the topic of AK polling, we have noticed that there is can be signaling issues with AK polling, depending on. Well, there's a separation. There's like two different factors. We've noticed there are motherboards and USB, certain motherboards and certain USB devices that just don't handle the AK polling well in general. But we've also noticed on our side, from the main board for the daughter board, then to the cable, that what goes to the daughter board, something can happen there as well. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that for needing a super PC for 8K polling, no, you don't need a super PC, but it doesn't rule out that 8K polling doesn't work very, very smooth on every PC. And it's not necessarily, in some cases, it could be the keyboard. And that is something that there's a few cases, like, I calculated number, we had like 0.0006%, like 20, which is like something like 25 cases where we have some issues with AK polling that we are understanding more and more about what that is, that we're fixing. But otherwise there are a lot of cases where it is related to their computer. Let's see. Five minutes left. Pressure. God, favorite keycap. I have no favorite keycap, by the way. I keep changing my keycaps because I try different ones that it's different samples that we're making. Actually, I in fact don't really have very pretty keyboards around. I did buy I finally, in my 12 years of doing this keyboard stuff, I finally spent a large amount of money on a keyboard for the first time. Yeah. And I do have to say that I do not feel comfortable with the fact that I did. And I can not really relate with people that are capable of spending so much money on so many keyboards as a hobby. I have a very hard time to explain this to myself. Your ATH is almost $500. Oh my gosh. What did you add? Like I do understand this piece of, when it comes to buying our own keyboards, like that price range of our own keyboards, and the reason for wanting to spend that money for that kind of keyboard, that I do understand. But now I'm talking about pure luxury. Like, it does really nothing. It just looks pretty, and that's it. And it's a block of metal that just looks pretty. That part I have really hard. Yeah, I'm having a hard time. Solid, no. Yeah, well, it's nothing gold. It's not that crazy. I think I've spent, I don't know. I should. It's not even that crazy for the keyboard scene. It's not that crazy. I'm not gonna say the amount, but it was definitely not 1,000 euros. It was not more than 1,000 euros. It was not 1,000 euros. It's not 800 euros. It was less. The keyboard I got is not even like, okay, it's a keyboard that I bought it because, let me look up the exact name again. See, this is how terrible I am with this. Let me see if they have a website even. Extreme. Okay. Okay, it's the Extreme. Is it on the X1 NASA keyboard? Yeah. That's it. The reason for buying it is that I saw it already come by at multiple occasions. And the thing is that if you look at the out edges of that keyboard, the shape of it being tapered, coming together like that, tapered together, I know for a fact that if you want to, it's CNC made. I know for a fact that that machine, CNC machine, is going to take a holy shit long time to CNC that. And I just have utter respect for the people that made it. And I was asking them, how long did it take the machine to CNC that out? What was it again? Crap. See, I forgot the time it took again. I think it was, or was it, they had a titanium one also, and that took like 24 hours, I think. And this was something like one side is at least 8 hours or something. So two sides is 16 hours. So 16 hours of a machine cutting that. And then on the inside, there's like a whole spring mounted thing for the keyboard, and I'm never going to type on it anyway. Shit, I'm out of time. Yeah. Anyway, I have a lot of I met the makers. I met them at the Shenzhen show. I met them at the show, and I already saw the keyboard. I saw the keyboard. I've seen the keyboard before. I was like, okay, this is very interesting. Then I met the actual people that made it, and they are just people that are hobbying this, and they made this for fun. And they really like doing. They like what they're doing. I was talking with them. I was asking about how they made it, expecting also the scene to be crazy. It was crazy, and I was like, you know what? I can respect that. So I think I bought it out of I like it, as in that. But it's more that I respect the makers. So that's why I bought it. Piston gasket. Well, you know, the thing is, once it arrives, it will arrive in a huge box. It's on its way. I'm not gonna type on it. I'm just literally gonna, I don't know. I need to find still a closet for behind me on the wall to put stuff, because now it's like boxes here on the ground still. I still don't have a proper closet behind me. I'm gonna put it somewhere and then showcase it, I guess. And just look at it and be like, holy shit, that took 8 hours for one side. Anyway. Oh my God. Yeah, well, that if there's a 25,000 RMB version of it, maybe it's the titanium one. They also made it. They were telling about the titanium one. The thing is, when you have a CNC machine cutting for so long in one continuous, the knife gets very hot. That's why in a CNC machine you'll see this like water being sprayed continuously to cool down the knife. But then when you do that with titanium, the material is so hard, it will heat up the knife faster and it will break. Well, it has a chance of breaking, and it will wear out much faster. So you have to go through more knives over time, and you need to cool it down well, and you need to slow down the process so it doesn't heat up too fast. So it takes even much more longer. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna do one last one, and then I need to close it up. I hope I didn't. I hope I didn't completely talk past everyone. Let me see. What is a fun question? Last question. Why will the Wooting 8? Well, okay. I don't want this one to be the last one. But ISO layout ATHEs. I don't know why they're not going to be sent. Not sent until March 2025. That means that we've sold out a bunch of ISOs already of the second batches and the third batch, maybe. That's interesting. Didn't realize that, to be honest. But we are producing quite a lot, and it's just that we've also been kind of pausing in between with productions. It's very, very scary with the amount that we're producing, that if there's something that indicates that might be wrong, that you're going to have then suddenly thousands of these things with that same thing out there. So we've been pausing here and there to double check things before going all ham. Might explain part of the March date. Okay, last question. Okay, let me see. Dolphin. Oh, wow, it's in Dolphin. Okay, Dolphin is like our third. It's not even our third, but it's our fourth. That would be our fourth purchase order. That means it's pretty far away. Yeah, shit. Holy shit. We already in Dolphin with ISOs? I didn't realize that. That's good news for us, though. If it's the modules, it could be. Modules are not purchased at the same quantity. So if you pick a different color, maybe with ISOs, there's an earlier delivery date probably, or you get an assembled one. Assembled black is the most produced one because it's also the most demanded one. But we're still trying to figure out, what we need to produce, and because we've set what we want to produce beforehand based on early numbers. But we do see shifts in where the demand is going, and yeah, it's just we can't modify that as fast. Okay, let's see, stone washed finish. Oh, I don't know. SNOX Rowcraft. The scale of 1 to 10. What are the chances of you making a stone washed finish on the ATHE Optimum edition? Oh, okay, stone washed finish. Okay. Well, we do have a special zinc case I'm making. We're making like a limited zinc case version. Trying a couple of things that are pretty dope in the same theme on the raw, but this time we can go a bit more ham on the raw part because we don't have like a certain thing we must deliver, and we can take it a much more extreme direction. It's going to be a limited version of the case. I don't know if we'll have assembled ones or only cases. Still figuring that out. Still first need to put a final on the looks of it. But it's not an Optimum one. It's just like we're trying something. Okay. Was that last one? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because this has now been, I don't know if you've just been asking very often, but do you plan to upgrade the hardware of the 60HE Plus? Every keyboard will go through a upgrade. But in general, what we do, when it comes to performance, we do a lot on the software side. So over time, the performance of the keyboard with the same hardware, it gets better and better. And I know with the 60HE Plus, we're already at a very edgy point where the gains we can get are very minor, because we're getting very close to just being limited by the 1K poly. But there's also a lot to be gained in the accuracy, like the question that was asked about our rapid trigger 0.15 millimeter. The reality is actually that we can go lower than that. I don't know. Yeah, we are able to go lower than that. Yeah. But we haven't changed it just yet. I don't know why we've not changed it to 0.1 yet. We had a new version of the 60HE Plus going out with new types of scanning that's been out now for a while, and it's very stable, so we should be able to change it to 0.1. Just hasn't been on the table for a while, and I mean, it doesn't make a huge difference anyway. But it is possible. Yeah. Yeah, and then with the hardware, yeah, we're going through as the team is growing, it's kind of making faster cycles and being able to make an improved version of something based on the feedback we're getting. Okay. I'm using an 80HE right now. This is the final one, right? So I'm actually using my 80HE right now. I have the it used to be called Smoky Black, but it's Ghost in the end. I'm using the Ghost case. I do not have one particular preference. It's just that I have one thing sitting on my table for a while. Right now, it's mostly the 80HE because this is like what we're shipping a lot right now, and I can immediately test things with this one. Otherwise, my personal preference would still go to just using a 60% in the end. Like, I feel completely fine with either the 60 or the 80, but switching between those two layouts makes no difference to me. And I feel 100% comfortable with the 60. So with the 60, I find a lot of fun with the friction fit. Sorry, for the friction fit. Also with other cases with the 60, just a little bit more fun. So that would be still my favorite keyboard. Okay. I'm gonna end it here. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for being great chat and asking a bunch of questions. I hope I didn't, okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, I have to do this one because I feel this is an important one. Would you consider selling that JIS 4.5 unit spacebar separately? Can't find it anywhere. Dude, I hear you. And oh my God. I cannot believe how typical keyboard situation this is. The 4.5 unit spacebars for JIS layouts, third-party keycap sets are all copy and Philco, and Philco definitely made a design oopsie with exactly the thing I was talking about before, the spacing between the two stems and the stabilizers. The logic there is not equal to every other spacebar out there. They did whatever. We didn't know. And we actually, if you got the keyboard already, you didn't get the keycaps, you're going to get those spacebar keycaps sent over to you for free. And from now on, every JIS keyboard and module includes those spacebars in the packaging, so you will never run into a spacebar problem. My God. Okay. Bye-bye. Good night. And thank you for joining.